Hello and welcome to yet another one of my videos, my tutorial videos for Farming Simulator 19 with Seasons 19. And this video is going to be about one of the more interesting subjects, also more challenging and also rewarding subjects in Farming Simulator, that is animals. Now I'm going to start off right off the bat by saying, in order to feed all your animals, that is all the kind of animals that you have in FS19 with Seasons 19, you only need 5 crops. Let me show you them. First and foremost, you need to have corn. Then you need to have grass. You need to have wheat or barley. You need to have oat. And you need to have canola or soybeans or sunflower. Those are the 5 different crops that you need in order to feed your animals. If we're talking about the vanilla FS19, you also need some root crops, that it be either potatoes or sugar beets. That's all. Other than that, now these are the crops that you need. Obviously, you also need silage. Now I have made some new silage bales here that are fermenting, so it is really not silage yet. Here I have some grass that I'm waiting to be dried out so we can get hay. Over here I have a lot of bales of hay, straw bales. I have chosen to make 20,000 liter bales because then I get a bunch of them. And well, that's what I've chosen to do. Now, I've said before that it is a little bit annoying to run the round baler, but there is an advantage of the round baler. So allow me to pick up 8 of these bales here, and then I'll meet you back at the bale shed that I have built. Let me show you that. So I'm going to pause the video, and then I'm going to see you in just a second. Now we are back at the bale shed. So let me just show you what the problem or the idea that what I want to show you what that really is. Now this is the Valtra tractor that I have chosen to have a front loader with bale spikes on. And when you stack round bales 4 in a row, so you have 8 in a stack, this baler, this machine here with that front loader is able to reach the top part of them. If you, however, stack, I don't have a stack like that, but if you stack the square bales with 16 bales, that is 8 in the height, all the way up, that front loader is not able to reach them. Now, that's not a bigger problem, that you instead need to get a telehandler, like the Manitou, the Massey Ferguson, or the other Manitou here. And then you can reach the top parts because this arm here can be extended. But with this, and this is what most people, I guess, in Farming Simulator would choose, they would choose front loaders for tractors at some sort. So that's really not a huge problem when I have it like this with 20,000 liter bales, because there's a lot of straw in a little bale like this. But if you wanted to go with the square bales and you wanted to stack them all the way up, you would need to be aware of that. You can also, of course, just choose to stack them 4, just like these over here. You can perhaps even stack them 6, so that means 12 bales in all, and that would still be able to reach them because the round bales are higher. One round bale is higher than one square bale. Yeah. So that is just one thing that I wanted to mention to you. when you want to deal with animals. So this is the bale shed. Now I can tell you that it has rained here. So let's take a look. 10,000 liters of hay. Obviously, we have 5,766 liters of silage. Now, why is that? That is because off camera I took the grass bales that I just threw out the window and then I converted them to silage bales, but I already lost that amount, almost half of it. If you look at these, they are full. So a shed like this should be able to hold 16 of these or 8 of these in the top. So if you put your bales inside a shed like this, then you should be good to go in order to keep your bales intact. The other option that you have, we're going to talk about that while we look at the different animals. Now, I think we should start with the cows because in my opinion, the cows are the animals that require the most work. Not in particular not the hardest animals to keep, but they require more work because you cannot feed them crops themselves. You need to feed them something else. So let's start by getting a couple of cows. Now, I seem to recall that this is the cow pasture, and we have a lot of manure here. Probably also some, I can't see that. But let's go buy some cows. Now in seasons, you have this little water pump here. Now that water pump is going to check every 15 minutes or something like that and make sure that you have just enough water that your cows may survive. Now you can always take a wagon like this over here. I'm going to show you that over here. I'm going to show you how to use it, what you're going to do. You can take a wagon like that, but that water will eventually run out and you will need to refill it. But it will never go dry, and that's the real idea here. Also, of course, you need to keep your cow pen clean, so we need to get some equipment for that as well. So I'm going to collect that equipment, and then I'm going to meet you back here at the cow pasture. So see you in just a bit. I just bought the equipment that we need. As you can see here, I've chosen the little skid steer loader here in order to scoop up the mess that the animals make, and they will make a mess. Particularly the cows and the pigs. I don't think that any of the other animals make a mess when they eat. But nevertheless, that's what we're going to work with. Now, let's take a look at the cows themselves, because this is a bit different from the ordinary game, Vanilla FS, to Seasons. And in my opinion, it makes a whole lot more sense. Now, generally, among your animals, there are 2 different kinds of animals that you can buy. Animals that produce something that you can sell, and animals that you can sell themselves. The only exception to that distinction is the pigs. No matter what kind of pigs you choose, they are meant to be sold. You can get more pigs and you can sell them, but that's it. They don't produce anything other than slurry and or manure. So for the cows, there are several different kind of animals that you can choose. The Limousin cow here, for example, the carcass breed. The Limousin is an expensive but feed efficient animal, meaning it will grow very quickly and give a great price at the market. So this is a cow that you sell. You feed it up and then you sell it. You fatten it up. The Ayrshire or Ayrshire, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Ayrshire farmers can rest assured that low feed consumption and price per head are both 2 well-worthy trade-off for lower milk production. So this is a cow that will give you a little bit of milk, but the idea is that you can sell the cow. Then there is the Sailor or Salaire. The Solaire is a cheaper option for starting farmers and is known for their high marbling carcasses that can return a decent investment at the market. So again, a cow that you sell in order to get meat. And then there's the Holstein, the queen of milk production. This breed requires a lot of feed and is expensive to buy up front, but produce the most milk. So this is a milk cow. You don't sell it, but you get milk from it. And then as far as I know, all the Brahman cows have been chosen to be selling cows. They are meat cows or carcass cow or whatever you want to call it. And that is also how they were actually meant to be, I suppose, by giants, but has now been fully implemented by the team behind Seasons. I'm going to go for the Holstein cow because I think that is what's going to give us the most interesting point of view about cows. So let's should be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, and confirm. So now we have 10 Holstein cows. Now, one thing that you will notice is that our newly bought cows, yeah, there are some milk in the farm. But if you notice this number here, they will not give us any milk yet, and that is because they are not fertile. Now, this is also a difference. One of the things that you need to be aware of compared to the vanilla game, the vanilla FS19, is that you will not get any milk from these cows unless they are fertile. And I can't remember exactly when they are that, but I'm going to show you in this video here. So, how do you feed your cows? Well, first of all, your cows need to have water. And that is why I think this little pump here by Seasons is brilliant. It will make sure that your cows have just enough water, as you can see here, 354 liters for 10 cows, seems reasonable, and it will keep filling it up. Now we can take, let me just get the truck somewhere. Yeah, there it was. Just stick that back here. And let it go. And let's go find the big water wagon. I seem to recall it was there. We don't really need this big wagon here because they don't need a lot of water, the 10 cows. But I'm going to take it anyway. And there's water in it just as well. Let's go fill the water trough up. And let's see what happens in the meantime. And it is full. So now that we have that out of the way, let me just show you why I told you that you don't need grass for your animals. At least let's start with the cows. Now, contrary to FS17, where you needed to give your cows total mixed ration, you needed to give them either hay or silage, and you needed to give them grass. You don't need to do any of that in FS19. You can start by giving them grass if you want to do that. Now, a little note here is that if there's grass in here, fully grown grass, and let's pass some time, let's pass a couple of minutes, 15 minutes or something like that, then you should see that all this grass gets cut and is put into the trough for the cows. Perhaps not all of it, but some of it will. Let's take a look now. They have gotten 4,735 liters of grass. And they will eat this grass if there's nothing else. So it is more like a ranking. If there's total mixed ration, the cows will eat that. If there's hay and silage, the cow will eat, and there's no total mixed ration, the cows will eat that. And finally, if there's no total mixed ration or hay or silage, they will eat the grass. But they will not touch the grass if I fill them up with total mixed ration. So let's start by looking at that. Now, in the vanilla game, there are basically two ways that you can make food for your cows. You can use something like this, the Stroutman Vertimix. It holds, if I'm not mistaken, 17,000 liters. Let me just take a look. See if I can find it. There. 17,000 liters, yes. Now, I'm going to show you, so this is the little smaller wagon. It holds 16,000 liters. I have made a cheat version. I'm sorry I haven't gotten time to edit the textures yet, but this version here holds 64,000 liters. So let's start by using that. So the idea when you mix food for your cows is that you need to get it in a certain ratio. So I'm going to see if I can get that correct ratio using the bales that I have available here. So I'm going to take this little, oh, sorry, just forgot something. It's not really necessary, but I like to do it anyway. Take one of the outer bales here. See if I have it lined it up. I didn't. See if I can get it lined up a little bit better. Should be it. That should be a 10,000 liter. Yep, silage bale. Let's grab it. Oh, not by. Trying to avoid to toss the other ones around. So let's lift it up a bit and put it in. There we go. Now for 64,000 liters, I seem to recall that we need one more silage bale so that we get 20,000 liters in all. Let's try to do that. There we go. Alright, so let's go take a peek at what we have. So it is, well, it's in the greens. Obviously, because we have... Oh, should remember to start the engine first. Obviously, because we have 100% in it, so... I suppose it's self-explanatory. Let's take this one. Should be the right altitude. Yes, and let's just get it just right. Let me see what this is we have here. 10,000 liters. Let's take that and dump that in. There we go. Now we should have 30,000 liters. Now we need one more. Get it just above the ground, something like half a meter, 30, a couple of centimeters. That seems to be fair. Oh. Well, it wasn't really. No. I could have done that a little more elegantly. Let's see, half a meter. There we go. So let's go see if we are still in the green. We are. Let me just try to put one straw bale in and see if that ruins everything. Now I want to tell you right now that I haven't done this with these kind of bales. Yeah, I've only done it with 4,000. But we should be able to get a reasonable mix anyway. Let's see if I can get it to work. There we go. So let's see if I can allow myself to put another bale inside. No. Because now there are 33% of everything, and that is too much. So we need to put in, yeah, that's right. Let's put one in one of the 5,000 liter silage bales here. See what happens. That's right. You don't need two. You need 2 silage or 2. Let's see if I can grab it. I could. See if I can salvage what I've made. My mistake. Still not. How much do we have? 64,000 liters. So unfortunately we cannot feed our cows with this. It didn't work. So let's move that aside. Now we have some forage, I think it's called. I'm pretty sure you can feed the cows with it. Let's try. Oh yes, we can. But I'm not sure what it will count as. Let's take a look. Let's see what they got. Now they got hay and silage, so that is what you get when you put in forage. Let me show you the one other method that we can use. Let's take the automatic wagon here. Let me show you what you can do with that. Now, this wagon here has a little snout on the front. Let's see if it's X. So let's start it up. So I'm going to go round to the other side. And this holds 17,000 liters, so I think I'm going to get let's say something like 6,000 perhaps. Yeah, it got it. Let's see what we... Let me see, once, what, 8,000. All right, so let's get somewhere around 8,000 liters. Now, as you can see, you can scoop up the silage using this little snout on the front, like that. Then we can just see if I can, yeah, like that. So this is one way you can do it if you have a clamp silo. Then you can have a hayloft. So if you went for the hayloft solution, you can drive your little wagon up here and you can get, let me see, some hay. So let's see, and let's get some hay. Let's stop it when they are green like that. Give it a little more if we want to. And now we can fill up the rest with straw, like that. Just turn off the mixer wagon like that. And finally, the final thing that you can do, let me just show you that. It's basically the same. Let me just get the ordinary 16,000 liter mixer wagon here. Like that. Let's turn it on. Now, if you have installed this mod that I have here, I've shown you it before, the fermenter plant here, just get it like that, and just turn it off. Sorry, not turn it off, turn it on, so we can get some. Let's oh, there we go. So let's get some silage. Now we need to get at least half or something like that. So let's get 8,000 liters. Yeah. Oh, like that. It goes fast. That should be enough. And again, this also presumes that you have the hayloft in order for this to work. So let's go visit the hayloft and get hay, like that. And let's fill up with straw the rest of the way, like that. The final method that you can use, and that is probably the one that I would choose if I had to have a large cow farm, is that I would go for the mixer station. So let me show you it. Let me get the silage that we have. Just fill it up, please. Like that. All right. Now, as you saw in my previous problem, a misfortune, when you mix your cow food in the mixer station or the one of these machines here, you need to get it in a very certain order. So I usually go for half the content to be silage, then 1/4 should be hay, and then the final 1/4 should be straw, something like that. That is what I usually go for. So if you're going to use the 16,000 liters and 4,000 liters bales, you put in 2 silage, 1 hay and 1 straw, or you can put in 2 hay, 1 silage and 1 straw. But you need to get it in the correct order for it to be total mixed ration. Otherwise you'll just get, well, you'll just get forage. And that is perfectly fine because your cows, when you put it in, they get it as silage and hay, and well, they can eat it, but it's not total mixed ration. So the advantage of the mixer station here, the cow mixer station, is that you don't need to concern yourself with the amounts that you put in. You just put in whatever you have or whatever it can take, and then you let it run. So let's start it. Now it can take both bales. Let me just show you that. I've put in a silage bale here. Let me see what happens when it goes inside. It should get some silage here. Pop. There you went. And let's see when the number changed. Let me just... So it was a 10,000 liter bale. Went up to 38,000. It's one way. The other is to dump it directly. That would probably be what I would do. So I would dump in some silage. Well, and just drive safely. Let's put in some straw. Now you should notice down there that the little number with the 0, it should change to another number. And let's take some hay now that we're at it. And now this little machine here will give you a gradual steady supply of food as long as you have enough material in the machine. And obviously when you don't, well, it will just stop. But you don't have to concern yourself with the amounts that you put in. You simply just have to put some stuff in it. Well, obviously the stuff that it needs, you do need to put that in, but you can measure out the amounts. Let's see if I can get it into... No, let's just try again. Of course you can measure out the amounts that you put into the machine so that you get just enough to there, it should be there, like that. Yeah. Total mixed ration. Fill it up. I don't think we need all that. So this is the final way that you can do your feeding of the cows. Now, what are the differences? Let me just get it out to the right. The differences, in my opinion, are... Whoa. If you want to have a relative small amount of cows, like for instance here we only have 10 cows, you can just as easily go with the ordinary wagons, the 17,000 liters or 16,000 liters or whatever you want to do it. You can go perfectly well with that. In my opinion, if you want to have a big cow farm, and that is, I would say, 100 cows plus, something like that, perhaps even at 50 cows, it will be a pain in a certain area to feed those cows using the ordinary method that you have here. Now, I'm not sure about the actual feeding mechanisms, the feeding amounts that you need to give your cows in seasons 19. If you look here, you can see that this pen requires 25,718 liters of food in order to feed your animals for the next year. But the food that your animals require depends on the year, and also the amount of water they need depend on the year. So if it's summer, they need less food and more water, and vice versa. But I do know that in the vanilla game, they have said that one cow would consume, I think it's 5,000 liters of food in 6 days, and that is the amount that you can feed your cows before you have to refill the trough. So if you have, let's just say that you have 50 cows. 50 cows times 5,000 is 250,000 liters in 6 days. And you have that little wagon for 17,000 liters of food. You will then need to go 14 rounds. So you need to fill up, and imagine you do it with bales, 4,000 liter bales. That is a lot of lifting up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. So the one thing that I was curious about was, why in the world would giants give you a way to feed your animals, your cows, when you have, well, a relatively small amount of cows, but not when you have a great amount of cows? So let me just show you the last trick that you can do when you want to get your silage from the clamp silo. So I've put in a belt system here. Let me see if I can get the wagon inside without... Yeah, like that. Let's just back it up. Now you can see the belt system will empty the silage as long as there's something to empty out. And there we were. There were nothing left to empty out. So I need to get out of here. Get out from this area here. I'm not sure I can swoop the wagon around in here. I'm actually pretty sure that I can't. There we go. But, oh, nice. I'm actually really terrible at this. Alright, let's see. Well, I suppose you get the idea. Let me just show you what you can do. So you need to move the little machine here. See if I can start the engine first. All right. Oh, you need to go in the opposite direction. I'm not sure why it doesn't collect anymore. It should have. For some reason it doesn't work right now, but that's the main idea. I got a little bit of silage, but that is the third way that you can scoop out silage. Let's put it left like that, a little bit. All right, so that is the basic way that you feed your cows. I would for the most part suggest that you get this mod here. It makes your life a whole lot easier in order to feeding your cows, because you get a steady supply as long as there's something in the machine, and you can just pick out the ones that you need, the food that you need, and then put it back in if you took too much food. All right. So let's take a final look at the cow pen, because there are some changes there as well. I'm not talking about the pen here in itself, but this menu here. Now, as you can see, there's now an age for your animals. This means that your animals will die. It's not if, but it's when. They will die. If you take good care of your animals, it will probably be of old age. Now, we have put in all the food that the cows need, and they will eat the total mixed ration first. You're going to see that. Then they're going to eat the hay or the silage, and then finally the grass. Like I said, you'll not get any milk, any new milk, before the cows are fertile. And I can't remember exactly when that is, but we're going to see that. So you need to keep, they are 0% cleanliness. So let's take care of that right now. That is also one of the things that you need to do for your cows. You need to keep their pens clean. No, not enter. Not yet at least. Let's scoop up the content here and see how much we get. Now we can't put this into, I'm pretty sure we can't put this into the pen because it is already full. I'm pretty sure it shouldn't allow us to do it. But let's try it anyway. Nope, we can't. But what we can do is, because this is basically forage, it's a kind of silage. It is silage. We can put it into our cow mixer machine. So let's do that. Now I'm not going to go into so much the depths that you need to do with the other animals because, like I said, some of the ideas, some of the things that you need to do are basically the same. So I'm going to, I'm going to go into more details with the cows and into less details, the relevant details that is, for the other animals. Get it to 0 degrees. Yay. Let's see if we can. Oh, I am so terrible at driving using my joypad, but it doesn't make loud noises, so it's for you I'm doing this. I'm suffering for you, so please be happy. Alright, so let's see if we can pick up the last bits here. We could. The interesting thing about the cows is that you don't really need any crops in order to feed them. It is more or less a byproduct that you need to feed them. Obviously, you could say you can dump some. Alright, so let's get this little machine here over to the pigsty, and then let's talk a little bit about the piggies. Let's first start by looking at the menu. For pigs you have 4 different kind of piggies. You have the Yorkshire. It is known as the mother breed. This breed of pig is a very fast growing animal, but requires a high amount of capital for the initial purchase. And said in otherwise, it is pretty expensive to buy upfront. The Gloucestershire Old Spot, which is a male. The Old Spot is a slower growing animal, but is much cheaper to purchase initially, very hardy and great for the starting farmer. So this pig doesn't grow as fast, but it is also cheaper to buy. There is the Spotted, which is a female. Known for the carcass quality, the Spotted grows relatively fast and can be purchased for a modest amount. So this is also a pretty good buy. And the Berkshire. The Berkshire is a fast growing animal that requires a modest amount of capital to purchase. It is known for their flavorful meat. So these are all meat animals. Now, one thing that I didn't talk about, let's just go into that right now. Let's find the animals. Now, just like any of the crops, the prices for animals will change. So the prices for cows are highest in the spring, and on this chart here, also relatively in the start of winter, the end of autumn. And that goes for all the animals. Now I'm not sure why this looks like that, if it's a multiplier, whatever they have put in, if it's a bug. But, well, you can see on the prices that, just go over to the cow pen. You can see on the prices that they definitely are higher than 6 or 7 or whatever it was. And you can look at the Brahman. Yeah, I think it's a bug in the game, or it's a multiplier, something like that. But maybe it's, let's see, that should be around 3,000. Yeah. Perhaps, how about the Brahman Brown? Should be also something like 2,000-3,000. Maybe it's simply because it cannot print all the numbers, so it only gives us small amount of numbers. Let me see. Perhaps. I'm not sure about that. But you can get an idea of how the prices develop. So for the piggies, we have, let me just go back to the pigsty. I'm used to calling it a pigsty. I'm not sure what they actually, if they call it a pig pen or... Now in this case, I'm going to go for the mother breed. So we're going to get 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Yes. And we have piggies. Now, the health bar. Yeah, I haven't talked about the health bar. I'm going to go back to that in just a second. Again, they have a little bit of water because we have the pump. I'm not going to give them any more than that because it's really not necessary. In order to feed your pigs, you need to have corn. You need to have either wheat or barley. And you need to have either soybeans, canola, or sunflower. So, let's take a look at the map. I had corn, grass, oat, sorry, that's wheat. Yeah, wheat, oat, and canola. So, corn, wheat, no, sorry. Yeah, wheat and canola. Let's take a look at the pigs again. Corn, wheat, canola. Like I said, that's all you really need. At least for the pigs. So let's go find a suitable tractor with a suitable wagon and give the cows some food. Now for the... No, sorry, not the cows, the pigs. Now for the pigs, it is a little bit easier, at least in FS90, in seasons, because all the crops that you need to give your animals, your pigs, you can store it in the ordinary silo. Let's get a little bit of corn. Like that, nothing more. Because I want to show you something else that you can do, which I personally prefer. So, left, yeah, alright. Did they give? Almost all of it. Alright. So let's get some wheat and see if I can move it. I couldn't avoid hitting it. Let's find the wheat and get a small amount. Like that. And let's do the same thing. Go around the pig enclosure, the pigsty, and give them a little bit of wheat. Like that. And finally, let's get some canola for them. That 500 liters. I'm not sure if that's going to fill it up all the way. It probably will. Now we have a lot of cow food and yeah. Oh, wrong way. Whee! The flying tractor. Alright, so let's give them this. Let's see how much they need. So they'll need definitely more wheat, then definitely need more canola. So let me show you the other thing that you can do. You can also get a pig food mixer. Now the reason I say it's not necessary, at least it's really not necessary in when you use seasons, is that, like I said, you can have all that. I'm not going to fill it up. It's not necessary. I'm just going to show you what you can do because the procedure is just as basically the same as with the cow mixer station, only it is my own mod, so I've taken someone else's mod and modded that. It is already turned on. So let's just empty this out, the corn. And turn a little bit around like that. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about this machine. So, like I said, in the vanilla game, you will need to give your pigs corn, wheat or barley, sunflower, canola or soybeans, and either potatoes or sugar beets. In Seasons 19, you only need to give them corn, wheat or barley, soybeans, canola, sunflower, so no sugar beets and no potatoes. So what I did with this mod, because I didn't want to make one for Seasons and one for Vanilla FS, I simply choose to say that you can either choose to put in corn or potatoes or sugar beets. And then the rest is the same for all you would want to mix the cow food, the pig food. Let me show you one other difference. If we look at the piggies, you can see here that if you give your piggies corn, it gives you an effectiveness of 50%. If you give them wheat or barley, it will give you an additional effectiveness of 25. And if you top it off with either soybeans, canola or sunflower, you will get the last 25%, that is 100% effectiveness. Let's go to the cows. If you give your cows total mixed ration, you get upfront 100% effectiveness. If you don't give them total mixed ration, but instead give them hay or silage, you will get a 75% effectiveness. If you don't want to give them hay or silage either, but only want to give them grass, you will get a 60% effectiveness. So with the piggies, they are cumulative, so 50% plus 25 plus 25 gives you 100. In the with the cows, it is either one or the other. Obviously, total mixed ration is the better one. Now, for all the animals, let's just take it right now. Your effectiveness meter has been swapped out with a health meter. So if you don't feed your pigs, if you don't feed your cows, that health meter will slowly decay until your animals will die. And the other way that they can die, of course, is they can die of old age. But hopefully you have sold your pigs until then. Let me show you what we get here. So that is basically the main difference between vanilla FS19 and with seasons. That is that don't need that much, but we get a lot. The main difference is that your animals can die in seasons. They can't do that in the vanilla game. And also your animals have a health meter. They don't have an effectiveness meter. Now, I'm pretty sure that they still have effectiveness, but you don't see it. So let's put this back. And that is also one, well, that's not really an advantage with the pigs because you can also put in the crops in the silo. So, but you can put in the pig food back into the pig food silo because it functions as an ordinary silo. All right, let's go up here and let me show you the last thing that you need to consider basically regarding having animals in FS19 with seasons. At least it goes for cows and pigs, and that is why I want to discuss it now with you. No, don't topple. Oh, fortunately, they didn't. But it was close. So let's put that down here. See if I can... Yep, like that. Alright. Now that little bump you hear once in a while, it's when I put my controller down on my table. On my desk. Alright, so one thing that you need to consider when dealing with animals in seasons is whether you want manure or slurry. And in my opinion, this seems to be a more real way to doing things because, well, you can't get both. I don't think so, at least. So, I am not sure whether adding straw to your animals will give you a little boost of effectiveness. Now, as you can see here from the food part here, there's no room. You can't get more than 50% effectiveness. So, contrary to what I have said before, I am pretty sure that the only main difference between giving your animals straw and not giving them straw is whether you get manure or slurry. Now, I would like for you to recall these numbers here, the manure number and slurry number. Because now, I am going to give my animals straw. Let's go and do the same for the cows. And just like before, I want you to notice the numbers. Let's see, I think it's here. Yes. Let's go in and look at the numbers for the cows. Manure, slurry. A lot of slurry. But look at the manure number and look at the slurry number. And I'm going to give them straw. Now I would say that we have given our pigs and our cows everything that they basically need in order to be happy little pigs and happy little cows. There's only one thing that we need to do. Shh. For the little piggies. And that is clean up the pigsty. Let me see how much I can get out of this. So I'm going to pause the video here and then get back to you when I have cleaned up the area. So see you in a little bit. I have cleaned up the mess. And there's no more room in the pig food silo, so I have to store it in here until I can release it into the pen. Alright, so again, we don't have any next animal. These are females, but they are not fertile yet. They have a clean area. It should go up to 100% in a little bit. They have the water they need, they have straw, and they have all the food that they would want. So let's move on to one of the animals that I think in Seasons 19 has undergone the greatest change, and that is the horses. If you notice something, take a look at this. You can see that all the horses, the prices for horses are 0. That is because you don't buy horses and then feed them and train them and then get money for them when you sell them. You bought horses for owners, and then your assignment, your task is to make the horses happy, because happy horses make happy owners, and happy owners, that makes money. Now they have also their different tempers, their different styles. So you can see the Andalusian are bred for their athleticism. Andalusians are known for their ability to both ride and drive, and today are used for show jumping and western pleasure. We have the paint, developed from spotted horses from quarter and thoroughbred bloodlines. The American paint horse is now recognized as its own breed, great for western pleasure events and shows. The Haflinger, while built strong for use in driving and draft work, the Haflinger is also a great breed for trail and endurance riding, as well as show jumping and quarter horse and all those blah 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 down there. I think we're going to go for... Well, here it doesn't really matter what kind of horses you choose, right? So we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's get one of each. So Andalusian, Paint, Halflinger, Quarter, Thoroughbred, Black Arabian, Tennessee Walking, and Morgan. There we go. We now have... Oh, sorry. Forgot. Yes, 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 yes. Confirm. There are the horses. Now, just with all the other horses, you can ride them around. Like this. But I have installed the horse helper mod, so I don't really need to ride them around. Horses need food. So what do they need? Let's take a look. That is not different from the ordinary game. So, as you can see, they have different stats. Alright, so here we need to give them hay and straw. Sorry, oat. Straw. But they also need straw. So, as you can see, this is what I needed the oat for. So, well, let's give him it. See if we can find the correct trailer. Tractor, not trailer. Something is, this little bale is vibrating down in the wagon for some reason. Let's start by giving them straw. Now, the horses will use the straw but you won't get anything in return. You won't get any manure or anything like that. I think I'm going to park this here, the wagon. And then I'm going to get a trailer. I think I'm going to give them a hay bale instead of getting hay from the hay loft. Again, I haven't said this, but just like with in the other cases, you can do just the way you want it. You can give them hay bales, or you can give them let's see, no, there. There we go. Just change it to the back. Now this is some of the things that you can see are mods. So you can see down here in the lower right corner below the content of my trailer, I have a little icon that shows me which port I am currently emptying to. So right now it's the back. I can also choose the grain port or whatever I want. I think that's a little bit, I think it makes it easier instead of having to get this menu every time. And also the numbers that you saw before, where you could see the angle and the height of my lifting implement for the tractor, or let me just show you when I get the white tractor over here and get a hay bale. You can see down here I have it at 0.05 meters and 1 degree. So it's almost plane with the ground. This should be hay. Oh. It is. Let me just show you that you can do this also. You probably know that if you have played the game before, but I'm going to show you in anyway. So let's put down the bale. Now, this is one thing that you need to be aware of if you make these big bales like I do. It's still there, but it should be reduced, as you can see. There's less of it. Now I can just put it aside here. I just have to be aware, I think. It's just, I'm not sure how much the hay bale, the idea is that for every building that you place, there should be a built-in mask, at least for all the original equipment in FS19. So, kind of like the seasons mask for the map, this building here, or this placeable here, also has a seasons mask. Now, if that seasons mask stretches, let's say, out to somewhere around here, then the bale here with hay will be secure. It will not rot, even if it begins to rain. But if it starts somewhere around here, then it will rot. We're going to see about that if we get some rain. Now our horses should have everything that they need. Let's take a look. They have no water. Didn't I put a pump? Maybe it didn't recognize it. Let's just advance time a little bit. That went, you can see it put in some water. So for the piggies, cleanliness, let's just, sorry, go down to the horses. Yes, they got a little bit of water now. So now the horses have everything that they need. Let's go for the sheeps now. And I think I'm taking them in sort of the, I would say, hardness, so the amount of work that you need to do in order to keep them well fed. But nevertheless, let's take a look at the sheeps. So for sheeps, you have 4 different types. They are all female, but they have different properties. So for instance, the Dorset sheep is a large breed of sheep that grows moderately fast has modest wool production, and requires a medium amount of feed as an adult. It's relatively prolific, which means that it gets a lot of offspring, and good for 25 to 40 kilograms lambs. So pretty big lambs, that is. The Merino is a medium breed that's used for wool production. It grows slowly, is not very prolific, but doesn't require a lot of feed as an adult. A large breed of sheep, that is the Suffolk, that grows extremely fast, produces a modest amount of wool, requires a lot of feed as an adult, is prolific and slow maturing, good for 45 to 65 kilograms lambs. And finally the Dorper, a medium-sized breed that grows fast but produces no wool, very prolific and fast maturing, requires little feed as an adult, great for 40 to 45 kilograms lambs. So, just like with the other animals, you basically have to choose here what you want. Now, I think we're going to go for this one here. It's prolific and slow maturing. It grows extremely fast, so let's take 10 of these. They also cost the most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Now, one thing you need to know. When you buy sheeps, let me just show you. Just put one over. There's a fee. That fee is only because I am buying it directly here. If I were to take a trailer, let me just show you. Animal trailer, no, there. Like this one, for instance. Drive it to the animal dealer, which is down here somewhere. Animal dealer. I can buy the animals with no fee. I'm not going to show you in this video because this is also applicable for vanilla FS19, so I'm not going to go into details with that. Just like with the other animals, let me just show you right here. Let me just show you, if we wait long enough, they should get grass automatically. Plop. And contrary to, at least I think, grass or hay gives an effectiveness of 100%, and that's it. So while you have grass in the pen, you can use that. You don't even need to feed the sheeps. I would call that a pretty big advantage of these sheeps here. And also they will give you some wool at some point. So, and that's it. Obviously when you need to feed them, you need to drive some hay or some grass down to the pen and then put it out here. They don't need straw. They only need grass or hay. So, the final animals that we have now are chickens. Now, before I buy some chickens, I want to show you a little trick that I found. That little trick I would suggest you is that you go into the mod hub in the game, then you search for egg bale or something like that, and then you place them in here. Now, as you probably know, when you have chickens and they produce eggs, they will give you little boxes with eggs in, some liters, and then you have to stack those boxes in the back of your truck or in the little Mahindra, something like that. With the pallets here, and I have one left here that I could also put up, but I haven't done that yet. With the pallets, the boxes will be filled inside these pallet cages instead. Then you can drive those filled pallets to somewhere where you can sell the eggs, and then you can take the cages back with you, and then you can get some new eggs inside those cages. But let's get some chickens. And again, chickens also, you also have to choose here what you want to have. So the white leghorn here is the bird you want if you want eggs. They don't need very much food, compared with the others. The Cornish Cross is a meat breed. It's extremely fast growing and has a fast turnaround in profit. It means that you can sell it. The only thing I see as a problem with selling chickens is that you don't have a trailer for chickens yet. So you will have to lose some money when you sell them because you need to transport them. And that might not make it worth your while. I haven't tested it out, but I will. And this is a male, so you won't get any eggs from it and new chickens. The Rhode Island Red is a hybrid breed. It gives both eggs and meat, and it requires an amount of feed in between that of its laying and meat counterparts. So it's sort of an intermediate. And then you have the Rooster. It will ensure that you can reproduce and fertilize your eggs. But you don't need a rooster in order to produce eggs, but you need a rooster in order to produce new chickens. So I think I'm going to go for the white leghorn because I want eggs. So I think we're going to go for 16 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then 2 roosters. Like that. Yes. So, the reason why I wanted to end with chickens is because they are, in my opinion, the most easy to handle. You only need to keep them clean, and I haven't seen them make a mess yet. And they only need to get either wheat or barley. So, let's find a tractor with a tipper and give them some. Well, I don't think we have any barley. We might have from another point on this map here, but let's give them wheat anyway, because that was what I harvested. Whoa, flying tractor. That's all they need. Alright, so now we have been through all the different animals in FS19, but also in seasons. And I will end this part of this video, with some general considerations. In vanilla FS19, when you feed your animals, you will feed them for 6 days, I think it is. In seasons, your trough will only hold as much food as to keep them fed for, I think it's 2 days max. So you will basically need to feed them every day in order to stay on top of it. Also, I would say that while it is possible to have all kind of different animals in this test farm here, we have them all. I think that you are best suited, you will get the best results by concentrating on one of 2 kind of animals. Now, for instance, the chickens. Let's go visit the chickens. The chickens and the sheep, they don't really need that much attention. So they are pretty easily fed and kept fed. While the horses, they need somewhat more attention. If you don't have the horse helper mod that basically rides every one of your horses at midnight to keep them at 100%. Just see if you can see if that is shown anywhere for the horses. Yeah, it should be this one. It does, yeah, the percentage here. You can see this is the Rusty was the one I rode, so it has 3%. If I ride, let me see if I can find. I think this should be daily or whatever it was called. Night, sorry, daily. Let me just open the pen, like that. Let me see if I can find daily. There we were. So I'm going to show you when I have ridden this horse a little bit around. It will most likely get to somewhere around a couple of percent. I'm not going to do that much of it. But that's the basic idea. You need to keep them clean. You need to ride them in order to give them fitness. Let's look at night. 14%. As you can see, I think it's something like 5 minutes or something like that. You need to ride them in order for them to get to 100%. If you get them to 100%, their fitness will rise and then you will get paid more for them. So as you can see, they have all that they need, and the horse helper mod should do something about that. Now, in my opinion, this is basically what you need in order to have animals in FS19 with seasons. This is all you need to know, in my opinion. If there's something else that you think you should need to know, then please let me know, because I might have missed something. The rest of this video, which I hope will be relatively short because we are now at a little over 1.5 hours, is I'm going to go through all the different seasons, all the different transitions with the animals in order to show you the differences. Now, as far as I know, the differences between the animals is limited to one season at a time. So I will feed the animals every second day, but I won't show you it. I will only show you what happens when you go through all the transitions, that is from summer to autumn, from autumn to winter, and from winter to spring, and from spring to summer again. So that is why I hope that this will be a relatively short video. And also, I would like for you to keep in mind the numbers here for slurry and manure for both the cows and the pigs. So if you don't want to see these transitions, if you want to play with it yourself, then I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope I will see you in the next video that I make. If you really want to see what happens during the transitions, then hang on, we're going to check it out.